As always, everybody, we will be spending the first minute just together. Yeah, we're just gonna hang out at first, actually, and that'll be great. And anybody have any good Valentine's Day plans though? I'm really curious about that, to be honest. Um, my partner is actually not in the state at the moment, and so as a result of not being in the state with me. We are spending it apart from each other, but that's okay. That happens sometimes. That's just part of being together for a long time is can't spend every holiday together. I really hope that everybody's having a good day though. I hope that nobody's letting themselves get too down or too feeling too bad about anything. I think that'd be a terrible way to let yourself spend it, but I also get it. Sadness can be a big thing. So and as always, this entire live works best when people are in here chatting me up because it gives me things to talk about and things to respond to. But as always, as well, we will start with some prepared remarks because a lot has happened in the last week since I last went live, and I think that overall, it's probably a good thing if we kind of center on where we all are as a society right now because it's pretty insane. Jay says we are your biggest fans. Jay and Chantel, we can't hear the. Oh, wait, you guys can't hear the audio? Wait, what? Is my mic not working? Hold on. Wait, can somebody else confirm what Jay just said? Can you guys like not even hear my audio at all? That would suck ass if that's true. Okay, I can hear it. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Franklin. G says I can. Okay, good. Oh, what's up, Guy Christensen? Hey, Guy Christensen. Serious invitation to you. Would you like to join as a guest? I'm actually gonna invite you. Guys, if you don't know Guy Christensen at all, let me just tell you, he's a pretty fantastic speaker and advocate for the pro-Palestinian movement and for the dignity of the Palestinian people. What's going on, Guy?
Yo, what up, bro?
Dude, it's so good to talk to you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I don't know if you saw what happened.
I did see what happened. Everybody, in case you don't know, Guy Christensen's accounts across basically every major social media platform were taken off because of one reason, which is that the Israeli state fucking hates this man for the sole reason that he won't stop talking about their extermination of Palestinian people. And it is for that reason that if you have any ability to at all, please follow Guy wherever he is available on social media. He usually goes under your favorite guy, I believe is your preferred handle. Guy, do you actually want to
Hey,
talk a
hey
little bit more
guys,
about it?
follow. Let me give you a shout out too, bro. Wait, what's your actual name? Do you shit online or
No.
no? Okay, Cornpop. Guys,
Yeah.
follow Cornpop. I've been watching his video for like 3 years on TikTok, basically since the beginning. He's always spitting facts. I find a lot of value in it. You know, dude, you've inspired a lot of my work,
Oh, thanks, man. That's
especially
so
considering
sweet.
like American electoral politics. Like I feel like you do a really good job talking about that, particularly. So I mean, it's great to finally talk to you. I'm
Dude.
actually in DC right now.
Oh shit, are
About
you
to
really?
drive. I'm about to drive home, but it's gonna be a long night.
Yeah.
We'll just
No,
say that.
dude, no kidding, man. I hope that you're I really, really hope that you stay safe on the roads tonight. Are you going back to Ohio? Is that where?
Somewhere.
Somewhere. Yeah, yeah,
Somewhere.
yeah. Well, Guy, before you go, do you want to tell my audience at all, who maybe isn't familiar with you, like what has happened with your social media and like what,
Yeah.
if any, were an inciting incident that caused this like latest wave of repression?
So I mean, I've been covering the Israel's Eighth Front War, which is they have 7 physical fronts, these battlefields in Gaza, West Bank, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, Yemen. And around summer last year, Israel officially endorsed the Eighth Front, which is the digital war, it's the propaganda war. And so I've been covering this a lot. And as part of that, Israel is behind, APAC ADL was behind the forced US sale of TikTok to Netanyahu's ally,
Yeah, yeah.
Larry Ellison. And so I've been telling people like as soon as they secure control over TikTok, they're gonna tighten the noose around all of our necks because we're on all of these major platforms. That's where we all exist on.
Yes.
Mostly, like some of us are on Substack and now on Upscroll now, but like those are the only two like uncontrolled platforms, and so they can really restrict us now because they have
Yeah.
total control. We can't just all flee to TikTok anymore, right?
Yeah.
That can't happen. And so you know, at it, I've been telling people it's like all this week, but it's like this month because on February 1st I got demonetized by TikTok, which was like a significant portion of my income. I don't,
Yeah.
do any of these things for like money or anything.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I just like use that to pay my rent. And so that hit me pretty hard. They demonetized me. Someone at TikTok switched my account against my will from a creator account to a business account, which forfeited all my rewards and kicked me out of the program for months. So
Yeah.
that hit me pretty hard. And then Instagram banned my eighth account. I've been blacklisted on there. Like they keep like finding not only my identity but my team's identity,
Yeah.
and their accounts are all blacklisted on Meta products now. That includes
Yeah.
Facebook, um, and all that stuff. And then YouTube last night uh informed me that they terminated my account over violations of their policy surrounding violent
Yep.
criminal organizations, right? And I like literally self-censored myself,
Yeah.
not showing any statements made by Hamas, not saying the word Hamas on in my
Yeah, yeah.
videos, like being very careful when I'm talking about resistance as a concept. Even it sucks having to self-censor, but I was doing that to avoid exactly this, because this is the one where they try to get you. They try to
Yeah.
connect you materially praising a terrorist organization or something like that designated by the U.S. State Department. And so there was no warning. I didn't have any active strikes. It was boom, boom, boom. Deleted my account, sent me an email. I appealed. They automatically denied it.
Yeah.
And so, like, man, I've been traveling like all this week. Like, I was in Qatar at the beginning of the week. Now I'm here in
God
DC.
damn.
So, like, I haven't been able to like really sit down and think about what's happening. So, I was actually on the road here when I got that email, and I tried. I spent like, bro, like 8 hours posting, reaching out to people, trying to get
Jesus,
people to
man.
rally, and they did. Like,
Yeah.
they really did. And especially on X, we had 50,000 posts like
Wow.
calling out, pressuring YouTube. It was like on the trending tab. It was really like inspiring to see people rally. And even though YouTube rejected my appeal, they this morning, like, I went to bed, I slept for like 4 hours, woke up, and they'd reinstated it fully, monetization and
Oh,
all.
wow. Oh, that's incredible,
Yeah,
man.
I didn't like. I thought it was pretty much pretty much over, but like this proves, and it this proves that if we collectively use our voices together, we can protect each other. Like, I'm gonna use the line I posted today,
Yeah.
but like, if we do not stand together, they will pick us apart one by one. Like,
Yes.
we've seen this demonstrated with Track APAC, got removed on Instagram this
Yep.
week, or like 2 weeks ago, whatever, and people raised their voices all together and forced Meta to reinstate them. The same or similar happened with Vasson on TikTok.
Yep.
There was a huge uproar when TikTok banned her account after Ellison took control, and now she's back on there, but she's also on
Yep.
Upscroll. I mean, there's ways we can work together, and we need to keep replicating this. So, yeah, I'm just really, really grateful, really lucky that
Y
that
yeah,
I
man.
haven't.
I I I am also very, thankful that the community actually came through for you and that it actually materially, change the circumstances of what was about to happen to you. Um, and I completely agree with your analysis as well, which is that both the platform owners themselves are such dickless bitches. Like they literally have no spine. Like they actually will like totally fold if enough people just like complain, which is wild because you would think that wouldn't matter, but it totally does because they are at the whims of shareholders and big shareholders of that. And plenty of these big shareholders are terrified of the idea of even one semblance, or I'm sorry, one iota of the digital outcry becoming a real outcry. Like they have no skin for it at all. So actually complaining and just like posting about it and talking about it always does matter. I think that there's like this innate cynicism in some people, which is that like, oh, like the delta in the things you can actualize between a digital space and a physical space is like massive, but it's really not, because like so much of our information ecosystem and so much of the economy itself all exists just purely digitally. So yeah, like
Yeah,
if netizens choose to say we will not participate in this, if you decide to act like this to the people who own the platforms, like it does matter to them. It does, like
yeah.
it matters a lot.
People, I mean, especially with these social media platforms, they're heavily tied to consumer products, particularly. So, I am someone who subscribes to, because I do so much social media, YouTube Premium, right? I did drop my Google Drive subscription for Proton last week
Yeah,
before
hell
all
yeah.
this. People are paying for, like, for just work, like they're paying for Google One services, and we can hit them hard in the pocket. Like, do they look at this and they're like, okay, Guy Christensen, he has this big of an account, he's hurting, making people upset this much. But if we lose $50,000 for this, is it really worth it? Is it worth the bad press and other people leaving and make it up a stir later down the line? And
Yeah.
so I think like a lot of like I've been everyone like probably in the chat has been censored in some way. I had an account ban. Like you guys know, you will just get like an automatic appeal, and it feels like it just like stops there, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
And we need to I hope especially what I saw is that the people who were on who joined Upscroll, like I helped get on Upscroll, came out like left and right
Yeah.
to support me. Like we had very right wing people like Jake Shields and Myron Gaines coming out
Yeah.
and being this kid voice needs to be protected. Like I'm also against the genocide and this mass slaughter, and this is about free speech. Like it doesn't matter. And so I think like we can build a really wide coalition
Yeah.
again for whoever this happens to next. I know that another thing that happened today was Obstacle got removed from the Google Play Store,
Yes, I did see that. Yeah.
and they were reinstated. People raised a little bit of noise. I'm not sure, whether it was like the team doing something, but I know that Zionists have basically tried their best to flood it with
Yeah.
very like anti-Semitic like
Yeah,
content
man.
just to take that and go to Google and be like, yo, they're not moderating this yeah, like illegal content, like stuff that
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
cause.
I think that people have this belief that the things that you're suggesting of this kind of astroturfing of hate speech is like so beyond the pale, because it's like, oh well, like if Zionists are so down with the idea of a Jewish ethno state, then like why would they even like risk the proliferation of like virulent anti-Semitism? But of course, this like completely uh, uh, ignores the reality, which is that like Zionism is a political project and not a religious one, and
Yeah.
because of that, like it is they're totally fine with doing that. Like they absolutely do not give a fuck about platforming Nazis. Like they don't care about any of that. Like anything that makes especially American Jewish people feel like that we have no protection at all. That the only place to run to is into Bibi Netanyahu's arm. Like they'll do literally anything.
Yeah.
And
No,
they are just like that
you're
depraved.
right. You're right on the dot here. And like I like bringing this up, but like when Holocaust survivors were asking to come to Israel after it was established through ethnic cleansing,
Yep.
the leaders of Israel denied them because they were poor, because they
Yep.
would not make good settlers to develop
Oh
the
yeah.
economy. It's like none of this had anything to do with what the Jewish people needed. Like
Yeah.
it's all about their political project
Yeah.
for building power. And so it makes me sad, like all the lies, all the ways that Israel like ties. They've told us, bro, for like 3 years, this genocide, this slaughter, all these like the worst things I've ever seen in my life,
Yeah.
of my 20 years,
Same.
the worst fucking things is in the name of the Jewish people. Like, how anti-Semitic is that? That creates so much anti-Semitism because it makes people look around and like, this is all I hear. This is
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is what all Jews want. Like, they're representing Jews. It's so damaging,
Yeah.
and
And
it
I
benefits
yeah.
Israel in the end because they can
Yeah.
take that and continue that cycle pointing to anti-Semitism and like encouraging Jews to feel like the only safe option is to run into Bibi Netanyahu. I think
Yeah.
you put it great.
Yes, and I think that this is why, and I don't want to keep you in case you have to go. I know you said you have to get on the road. Um,
Yeah, I do.
okay, yeah, yeah. Why don't you go ahead, man? But we'll talk again soon when you have some time.
Yeah, we should do another live. This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for coming on. Everyone, thank
All
Guy.
right, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Cornpop. It does great content and great work.
Thank you,
You'll
buddy.
if you like my content, you'll enjoy his. Maybe even more. All
Well, I appreciate it, man. Please drive safe, okay?
right, I will. Bye.
All right, peace out, man. Oh man, that was so much fun. Wow. I mean, I haven't had a guest on Substack Live yet. That was actually really good. Actually, yeah, sorry, CMDR. Cool. You'll have to catch it in the recap. Um, I actually have a question. Because I don't really watch a whole lot of Substack lives myself. Guys, if you're still here in the chat, is there a way for you to like request to join my live? Like, is there like a button? Because on TikTok, that's like a really easy thing. It's like you can literally like ask to be added as a guest. Is that a thing on Substack? Like, can my audience watching, can you guys request to join me? Because I like it was really easy to add guys, so I imagine it goes in reverse too. Put it in the chat in case you have that answer. Um, but I did really want to get into my remarks for tonight. because I think there's a button to subscribe to your Substack. Is that what you mean? No, no, Barbara. Thank you for responding. No, I was more asking if like here in the live video is from whatever you guys are viewing it from, if there's like an option on the video to like ask to be a guest on like a guest speaker with me like in the panel. Because I would be really interested if that was the case, because then I would be really interested in trying to leverage that capability to engage with you guys more. But if it's not really a thing, then it's just not a thing. You know, it is what it is. But all that to say, I actually want to get into my remarks for the evening. So we shall go ahead and do that. Before we get into this, I want to say something directly to the people who found this newsletter through the Minneapolis Dispatches, which is that you all came here, from what I can tell, because you wanted someone to tell you what was actually happening on the ground while ICE was rolling through the Twin Cities in unmarked SUVs. And I promised you I'd keep doing that work. I do want to let you know that I've been really trying to source my information even more rigorously than I already have. And also, there's just been a little bit of a what's the word? A little bit of a slowdown in the information that's coming to me. Very unfortunately, a couple of my own contacts on the ground actually got picked up by ICE, which really destroyed my ability to get that information to you all. And I'm still trying to talk to their family and their friends as much as I can. But obviously, it creates a little bit of a stricture. But I do want to tell you some stuff that's happened this week, both here, with regards to ICE and also in regards to international and domestic politics, because it all ties together. I think one of the things that Guy, if he was on the call with me right now, would agree with is that when leftists say that the imperial boomerang brings everything back home, like we really do mean that, and it is the direct result of things like that are you see happening in Gaza that allows us to then analyze what's happening in the United States and see the through line of almost like looking into a dark mirror of seeing what waits us in the future. So I want to kind of just cover some stuff that happened this last week. On February 12th, Tom Homan went on stage, and he's the current border czar, and he also looks like a thumb come to life. And he announced the end of Operation Metro Surge, and he declared it a huge success. And he said, it's the biggest immigration enforcement in operation in DHS history. He said over 4,000 arrests in Minneapolis-St. Paul area. And if you've been reading my newsletter, then you actually know what the texture of that looks like. It's like convoys rolling through Somali neighborhoods. It's kids being ripped out of school. It's businesses bleeding literally tens of millions of dollars in lost revenue. Entire communities retreating indoors for weeks at a time, not just because it's cold. And then the next day, which was Friday the 13th, which was yesterday, guess what happened? DHS funding actually lapsed. That was the third shutdown of DHS in 4 months. And it was the first time, actually, that a single cabinet department got shut down by itself. But the reason why is very interesting, because back in July in 2025, the One Big Beautiful Act directed $75 billion to ICE and $64 billion to Customs and Border Patrol. They were separate appropriations and independent funding streams. So when the DHS funding lapsed this week, enforcement operations didn't skip a beat. Metro Surge could have kept running through a shutdown that lasted 6 months if it wanted to, and the money was already in the wall. So what else wasn't wow, that's interesting. Sarah Allard says, I'm in Europe. It's the middle of the night. All good, Sarah. Thank you. But you guys know what wasn't pre-funded from the One Big Beautiful Bill? That was TSA. It was FEMA. It was CISA, the Secret Service, the Coast Guard. Like those agencies all went dark. Like personnel were told to keep showing up without pay. FEMA disaster reimbursements froze during the worst cold snap in the eastern U.S. since January, where if you live on the East Coast, wind chill has hit -30 in New England. CISA's capacity to monitor election security threats degraded in real time. The Coast Guard kept running maritime operations, on what are basically IOUs from the government. And the Democrats, during the shutdown fight that happened, they kind of tell you everything about where their priorities are. Like they asked for body cameras and ICE not to conduct arrests without judicial warrants and all this shit, right? And now those demands are like a direct description of what Operation Metro Surge actually looked like, which was, there were no cameras, there were no warrants, there were masked agents, lethal force and all that. But knowing these things together, it becomes clear that the shutdown of DHS is supposed to act as a fight over whether the enforcement apparatus that just killed 2 citizens and arrested journalists would have any accountability mechanisms at all. But the answer is still no. The money was allocated months ago, and everything that was designed to protect people was left to starve. No, now all at the same time that this is all happening, right? That Democrats are fighting for things that don't actually stop the operations, but they just kind of make them look better. And knowing that they ICE and CBP have money to run for months, right? it's nuts then to know that according to Marist, like 65% of Americans, not Democrats, Americans believe that ICE has gone too far. And 62% of Americans say that ICE makes the country less safe. Hakeem Jeffries called the one big beautiful bill what it is, which is a far cry for me to criticize him for that, although I do think that he's just remarkably incompetent. And he said it was a $191 billion slush fund that handed $75 billion to ICE while funding tax breaks for billionaires. That is true. Good job, Hakeem. And if you're wondering, though, who is supposed to provide oversight when the legislature can't get accountability provisions into a funding bill, when the courts are being slow walked, when enforcement agencies are pre-funded and operationally untouchable? You would naturally look at the Department of Justice for that, kind of accountability. Which is why when the Department of Justice has the kind of week that it just had, it is not giving me a lot of hope that would ever happen. Okay, so let's talk about Epstein, right? So the Epstein Files Transparency Act was signed into law on November 19th of 2025 after a discharge petition that was led by Democratic Representative Ro Khanna and Republican Representative Thomas Massie. And they forced the House into a vote, and that House bill passed 427 to 1. Okay, and the mandate was very simple. The Department of Justice was going to be compelled to release all unclassified files on Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, so this week, what did they do? Well, they released 3 million pages, bringing the total to roughly 3.5 million pages and 180,000 images and 2,000 videos. Okay, so the material is sourced from everywhere: the Southern District of New York, the Southern District of Florida, a bunch of FBI investigations, and the OIG investigation into how Epstein died in federal custody. Okay, now I want to stick on the number of 3.5 million pages. I want to put a pin on it because we're going to come back to it. So on February 11th, right, which was on Wednesday, Pam Bondi went into the House Judiciary Committee and basically lost her shit, okay, and just had a complete meltdown, right? I mean, I agree with all the analysis I've seen on TikTok and everywhere else that Pam Bondi actually seems scared angry instead of furious angry, almost like she understands that she genuinely is in the worst possible bind she could be in, where she can't admit that she's gone too far, and she also can't admit that she even knows what too far is. She is just stuck. But besides her kind of ranting and raving, the really interesting thing that was captured at the hearing is something I really didn't see a lot of people talk about, which was that Reuters and AFP photographers captured in a binder, right? A binder that Bondi was holding, right? Inside the binder was a document with a title printed clearly enough to read in the photos, which said Jayapal Pramila search history, right? So obviously it's switch, it's Pramila Jayapal, but it's the document name, so Jayapal, Pramila search history. Okay, so if you don't know who that is, though, Pramila Jayapal is the Democratic representative from Washington State, and what the document supposedly contained was every query that Representative Jayapal ran, every file from the Epstein files that she opened, and brief summaries of the content that she reviewed when she visited the secured DOJ annex to read the unredacted files. Jayapal confirmed that it was accurate, and Representative Nancy Mace then confirmed that the practice of having these big files about what it is that representatives are reading from the DOJ is not limited to one member, and that the DOJ was actively tagging all documents that members of Congress had searched, opened, and reviewed. So to make that clear to you, the Department of Justice is conducting intelligence operations against the legislative branch, not even in secret. Bondi had the binder at the witness table in front of cameras, in front of Congress. Either she didn't realize what she was revealing, or she wanted Congress to know that they were being watched. Now, Representative Jamie Raskin called it spying and demanded an inspector general investigation, which I don't really know who he thinks that is going to do that investigation in a real way that would actually deliver any accountability, but I appreciate the sentiment. And he is right to demand it, right? But the chilling effect is already in motion. I mean, a member of Congress who knows the DOJ is logging which Epstein-connected names that they search for, which files they pull, how long they spend on specific evidence, that member has to assume that the information is now going to get weaponized against them. Now, it could be to, just anticipate their questioning or prepare counter narratives or something, but it also could be used to identify which powerful people that they're getting close to implicating, in which case maybe they find reasons to not let that member keep being a member, right? Oversight is compromised the moment that the overseer knows they're being watched by the institution that they're investigating. And then there's the big problem of data pollution, which I really have not seen many people talk about the story at all. And I think all of you certainly deserve to think about it some more. Okay, so you may have seen that earlier in the week, Representative Ro Khanna read 6 names on the House floor, which are people he identified as wealthy and powerful, whose identifies that the DOJ had allegedly concealed in the files. They were people like Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the former CEO of DP World, right, billionaire Les Wexner, and within days, the Office of Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche revealed that 4 of the 6 names that he read on the House floor had absolutely no connection to Jeff Epstein. Their photographs came from just a random lineup that the Southern District of New York assembled years ago for a completely unrelated investigation. So the DOJ buried unrelated photo lineups inside 3.5 million pages, right? We're taking that pin out. Okay. And a member of Congress who was acting in good faith and doing his job read those names publicly. But those names are in the media ecosystem now, even if they're unrelated and they're permanently connected to Epstein. And the member who named them looks reckless and like they have some kind of a vendetta, right? So the actually culpable names are still somewhere in that ocean of material being reviewed by lawmakers who now know that every search that they run is being tracked. And the thing about this is that this is again an example of flooding the zone. The volume is a weapon, right? Like if you flood the zone with enough material that signal drowns out the noise, that signal drowns in a noise, I'm sorry, then you have effectively salted the release. So the first people who try to act on it always discredit themselves. And then, of course, you can make it even worse by just surveilling the review process so you always know where investigators are looking. So transparency in this way becomes the cover itself. Um, and I must say, uh, from the work I've done in reading any of the files and reading plenty of other Substackers here who have done way more analysis than me, uh, I think that the biggest thing is that the DOJ acts as an institution that effectively creates the conditions where a trafficking network can operate in plain sight, right? Because it is always going to find ways to shield people in those files, and it will always find ways to ensure that these people have no shot of ever getting actually shown any book, any consequence, nothing. Um, I mean, it's just it's almost what's the word? Well, I would say it's stupefying, but I mean, even that feels a little bit silly to say, doesn't it? Um, Another thing though that I think is interesting as well is that we have to talk about tech, guys. I'm sorry. I know everybody hates when I bring up AI, which is fair. Everybody does, but we have to talk about AI because in the same week that the Epstein files had this huge fiasco happen, in the same week that Tom Homan is saying mission accomplished in Minnesota, there were also earnings for a bunch of companies, and those earnings were fucking insane because all these like hyperscalers, Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft, Google, they all came together and said, we are going to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on AI infrastructure. Most notably, by the way, OpenAI and NVIDIA signed a letter of intent for $100 billion to build a 10 gigawatt AI infrastructure network by later this year, which notably actually NVIDIA came forward later and, well, actually, sorry, Jensen Huang, NVIDIA's CEO, later said that that number was actually unconfirmed, which kind of does give me some pause as to whether or not like their relationship with OpenAI is actually that solid. But yeah, I mean, like over $600 billion from four-ish players in a single year, and like if I include Microsoft, that number actually goes closer to like $700 billion, which is insane. And there's a question we have to ask in the AI revolution, which we're always going to ask, which is where does the electricity come from? Okay, so I want to actually look at the East Coast. All right. PJM Interconnection is an organization that operates the power grid for 67 million people across 13 states, spanning from New Jersey to Kentucky. And their projections say that demand for electricity will rise by nearly 5% annually for the next decade, which is unprecedented and driven almost entirely by data centers. By summer of 2026, they said the electricity grid of the eastern United States will barely maintain reliability. That is this year. By 2027, they said that the region will fall below operational reliability standards, which, in case you don't know what that means rolling blackouts. Okay, that's what that means. It means rolling blackouts during heat waves and winter freezes to keep the grid from physically collapsing. Northern Virginia's data center alley, which is the town of Ashburn, Virginia, which is like, I don't know, like an hour from me, already hosts over 150 mass computing facilities. One county's power consumption now rivals small countries, which is fucking insane. Okay, and these facilities connect to the power grid, by the way, without providing their own independent power generation capacity. They just plug into the same grid you and I are working with. But the cost transfer is very specific. PJM consumers pay an estimated $100 billion will pay an estimated $100 billion by 2033 in capacity upgrades required to support data centers. By 2028, working families, again, from New Jersey to Kentucky, okay, will have to pay roughly $70 more per month on electricity. Tech companies, of course, lobbied successfully against proposals requiring them to power down during grid surges. So when the blackouts come, residential customers will absorb them instead. So your lights will go out and the data centers will stay on. Meanwhile, okay, while all that's happening, while they're telling you you're going to do that, you're going to suffer through blackouts in fucking scorching heat, okay, in places like DC. right, where it gets more humid than my ball sack. Okay. OpenAI launched advertising in ChatGPT. Okay. $20 billion in annualized revenue is just simply not enough for them to keep their lights on, which is well documented by people like Gary Marcus and Ed Citron. And the product that was supposed to democratize intelligence is now going to serve you ads, okay, on the free tier and then throttle your messages if you opt out, all while running on a grid approaching failure because the companies building it refuse to pay for their own power. Sam Altman has spent years warning that advertising would corrode trust in AI, and I guess that he was willing to say that until the unit economics caught up with him. And kind of moving away from AI, like the companies themselves, I actually want to talk about Spotify in a way. Because Spotify announced last week that their top engineers haven't written a single line of code since December. They built some kind of internal platform. Using Anthropic's Claude that lets engineers fix bugs from their phones. And they said, we shipped 50 plus features in 2025. That's how their CEO said. And their co-CEO actually said something interesting. They said, this thing handles execution. Humans handle the judgment. And I could talk about the labor story of that, but like the resource story is what I really think we need to center on, right? Because every AI generated code commit from these people, every inference call, every feature that's deployed through that pipeline consumes electricity from the same grid that is buckling under 150 data centers in one place in Virginia. Like that is fucking insane. And mind you, okay, it's not as if the products at Spotify or any of these companies that are doing this are getting noticeably better as a trade-off. It's not like you and I are living in a world where we can work less, where we can enjoy music more completely, where we can do any of these things, right? All these companies are doing is getting leaner. And leaner means that they need less people. So they are going to make you suffer through blackouts so that way they can push more features most of us don't use, so they can hire less people and pay the existing people basically the same while expecting them to work more. I mean, it's gargantuan in its evil, right? Meanwhile, all this is happening, by the way. A bipartisan coalition of 50 state legislators, led by Maryland Senator Katie Fry Hester, proposed that PGM stop buying capacity for new data centers. And the floor, in my opinion, this is the floor of what a sane response looks like. And the industry's response was keep building them. Keep building them, you know? And that's just how American capital treats American citizens, guys. Like when there's enough money on the table to make accountability feel optional, they will always throw you under the bus. And this week, also, the administration demonstrated that when we look abroad, that playbook scales very well. On February 7th, Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, confirmed that the U.S. is pressing Ukraine and Russia toward a peace deal by June, ahead of the midterms. And the 20-point draft out of Abu Dhabi locks in current Russian territorial gains. Zelensky's own words were, "We stand where we stand," which is sad, of course. Buried in Provision 17, there's a clause that stipulates that the United States and Russia will extend nuclear non-proliferation treaties, including START. Provision 18 forces Ukraine to remain a non-nuclear state also, by the way, and Ukrainian territory will be traded for a bilateral nuclear framework with Moscow. So, that's pretty insane because, in my opinion, the sovereignty is not really ours to spend, but here we are. Then if we shift southward, we see that in Venezuela, the Don Roe Doctrine is already being operational. I'm sorry, but this is going to be a historical term. It's not a meme. Like, it's officially in the book of record, okay? 150 aircraft bombarded Caracas. Maduro is physically abducted, as we all know, and all these things. But what's funny is that at the Security Council, Ambassador Mike Waltz didn't invoke self-defense. He said that the world's largest energy reserves cannot remain under the control of adversaries. And of course, the word adversaries is doing all the lifting because it can mean whatever they want it to mean next month. Cuba, meanwhile, as we all know, is under a fucking oil embargo. And that is insane because it means that Cuba is operating with less and less, by the day, mind you, less and less hospitals, schools, and research institutions, which is, a fucking humanitarian catastrophe. And if we look back over to Gaza, we see that the administration vetoed a permanent ceasefire resolution and announced phase 2, which is a 15-member Palestinian technocratic body called the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, which is supervised by the U.S.-led Board of Peace and a Gaza executive board that is stacked with international businessmen. The stated vision is the Gaza Riviera, which makes me want to throw up as I say it, but it's just what they're calling it. And that would be a special economic zone built on rubble. Israel has killed over 450 Gazans since the ceasefire started, and that's just what they're willing to admit to. And they are actively sabotaging the committee's ability to govern, which provides the pretext for staying indefinitely. You just install a compliant body and then you let the occupying power undermine it. And then, you look to its failure as a justification for just continuing to do what you do, which is exterminate them. Representatives Ramirez and Velasquez introduced the New Good Neighbor Act on February 10th, calling for a formal annulment of the Monroe Doctrine, 2 centuries of policy that justified every intervention, coup, and extraction and campaign in the hemisphere. The resolution exists. Whether it moves is a different question. Secretary Rubio delivered the administration's thesis statement at Munich on Valentine's Day, which is today, and they told this very, very large transatlantic security gathering that a world without borders is a dangerous fantasy that threatens Western civilization. Now, mind you, German Chancellor Merz, who is a conservative, he is a member of the Christian Democratic Union Party, responded that freedom of speech ends where words are directed against human dignity. I think that when a center-right German leader tells you that you crossed the line is probably behind you. Newsom showed up at the same conference as an alternative American voice also, which tells you that foreign allies are now choosing which America to listen to, which is, interesting to say the least, because who knows what that actually means for the potential balkanization in the United States. In my opinion, as I've said many times on this stream and on this newsletter, we are heading there rapidly. So to cover, okay, Ukraine's sovereignty is negotiable because nuclear architecture matters more. Venezuela's resources are seizable because adversary has no fixed definition. Gaza's governance is imposable because the people living there don't get a vote on who administers their ruins. And domestically, your electricity subsidizes the data centers, your taxes pre-fund the masked agents, and your Justice Department surveils the people who are trying to investigate where the money and the bodies of little children went. So, that of course is not a super hopeful note to end on, which is why we're not going to end there. Because on February 8th, a week ago from tomorrow, Bad Bunny headlined the Super Bowl halftime show. I know. You might wonder, why the fuck am I talking about this? But the thing is that when you think about what it is that he did, he performed almost entirely in Spanish. He brought together representatives from every country in the Americas. He proposed this idea that we are actually just one America, which is really just a sort of a lead into the idea of we are just one world. But when you think about that, and you think about what this newsletter is supposed to be, right? Like what my Substack page even is. My newsletter exists in the space between what is being done to people and what people are doing about it. And when a man like him stands on the most corporatized stage in the country and holds up a flag that used to carry a 10-year prison sentence, look it up, by the way, look up the gag law. And he performs in a language that the broadcast isn't built for. And 128 million people watch it, and they love it, and they talk about it, and they rejoice in it. It tells me that we are actually all willing to fight for this. Like, we are not willing to just lay down and die. Like, it is too soon for us to just give it up, And I think that there is so much more for us to do, and there's so much more joy for us to have. But I think that all the people who are still here with me know that it's not going to come without an immense struggle and an immense will to keep looking at the truth. And when they lie to you, whoever you think I'm talking about when I say they, rejecting it wholesale. Those are my remarks for the evening. I am happy for all the people who decide to stay here with me. Thank you all. I have about 23 more minutes, though. So, as always, everybody, if you enjoyed those remarks and you're not currently a subscriber to Pop Off in the Pocket, I would really, really love it if you would become one, because I would love to hang out with you more. And also, if you have things specifically that you want to talk about, then I would love for you to drop them in the chat. As I say all the time, this live stream only works as well as it does when people are engaging back with me and telling me what it is that they want to talk about. Because otherwise, I'll just start yapping my ear off, or I'll bring my dog on the screen, which I will do now, actually, because he's a very sweet boy. Boy, come here. Yeah, you come here, Bubba. Yeah. Oh, he's a stretchy man. Oh, hi, howdy. Oh my goodness! Wow, he's a big boy. He's a big man. Don't you guys love this dog? Oh my goodness, don't you love him? He's such a good dog. Yeah, there's always a howdy tax. When I streamed on TikTok, people would interrupt me, really trying to make good points. And they'd be like, "Shut up! You've been talking too long. Show us the dog." And I would always have to bring him out. That's just the price of having the platform, I guess, though. Guys, I actually did ask you earlier. Wait, somebody named Bleepo joined. That's so funny. One of my nicknames for my dogs is Beepo. I like to call him Beepo. I don't really know why I did that. I think it's because I like to hit his nose, like beep him like that. Let's actually see here. I'm so interested to see all the comments I missed. It actually doesn't look like that. I did miss that many comments. That's actually so crazy. Real quick though, Robin Cummings said, America is therefore spying upon America and planting lies with material being investigated to then discredit the people doing the investigating. So, how to stop this? Yeah, man. I mean, like, Ro Khanna's entire moment where he read those names and then he was basically just undermined immediately by the Department of Justice was fucking insane. Like, that is so crazy. And it definitely is meant to be a chilling effect on all the other representatives who want to do that, who want to go and just like read names, because I think that they also know it's like if you have all these representatives of Congress go and read names and try and really get the word out about what's happening, there's almost like a flood the zone factor that they then do, where if you're talking about how evil it is all the time and you're talking about all these people who are implicated in it all the time and there's all this like back and forth of, oh well, they are implicated but they're actually only slightly implicated, this that and the other, then you effectively make it so that your opposition, the Democrats in this case, are flooding the zone in people's attention span. So, like, it's kind of a genius strategy. Like, they did it first with making way too many documents available all at once. They knew everybody would seize on them. They knew that everybody would go on social media and talk about it. And they also knew that House reps and senators who want to be shown as like, hey, I am going to stand up for you. I'm going to make all these people get held accountable. That does require them getting up there and doing what Ro Khanna does. And I think they knew that that was going to happen. And I think that that's really malevolent and evil, but I think that's also really genius. That's the kind of like power making power playing that I just like don't think Democrats even have half of an instinct to do at the current moment, which is unfortunate to say the least. Also, guys, I had spoken about how Tom Homan said, directly that, hey, we're going to leave. Donna Everett says, thoughts about Massey posting about his well-being now. Yeah, I did see this, Donna. Thank you for asking. So I think it's expected. I think it's expected that like as people like Massey and Khanna continue to beat the drum of like, no, we're going to hold all these people in the Epstein files accountable. Yeah, they're 100% going to start feeling like that they are actually at risk of getting shot and killed or something to that effect. I will say though, I think if we cross that Rubicon, like we're never going to go back. Obviously people have been dying in U.S. politics forever. Like it's not new. I'm not trying to pretend it is, but I think if there's all this attention being paid on this one issue, which is the holding accountable the people who were partaking in the rape and murder of children at a high level and were protected by institutions. If there's all this hyper focus on that, and the people who are trying to bring those people to account start dying, I think at that point there's only really like two outcomes, which is that one, the U.S. populace gets so resigned to their fate of never having a actually representative government that we almost start to embody a form of cynicism and a belief in like nothing, this like nihilism that I really would say is more akin to how people in like former Soviet states view their government, which I mean, some might even say that we're already there. Or it would cause, I think, like a huge backlash of anger in a real physical way. I really could see that. I think that there are so many, like, I don't think people understand, man. Like, there are some people who have broken their brains in a real way in the last decade as the proliferation of things like Pizzagate into QAnon, now into the Epstein files, and now into the Epstein files confirming people's like worst fears and imaginations. There are people who have made themselves, I would say mentally ill, but really what I should say is like manic about this. And like, if they suddenly feel like that all of their time and attention being spent on this one thing is all going to be for naught and that all these people are going to get away, it's like I've said many times on this stream, like it only takes one person deciding that they have nothing left to live for. It only takes one person deciding that I want to be the hero. I want to show these motherfuckers that like they should be scared of people. It takes one person to make all of them on notice, right? Like one person can go to one event where, I mean, fuck, dude, like, you know what? When I watch videos from like Climate Defiance, for example, who I love, and if you do not follow Climate Defiance on TikTok and on YouTube and Instagram, you must, because they're a wonderful direct action group that really does disruptions in the style of what I think like ACT UP was doing in its heyday. When I look at them though, and I see what they're doing, I constantly think like, wow, it's so easy to get into these spaces. Like, I mean, they're just paying for like plates at a dinner. That's easy. Like, doesn't really take that much at all. You just have to know what dinners to go to and know who's going to be there. Like in some of their videos, man, they're like in front of U.S. senators. They're in front of people like at the State Department, and they're just like there, you know. And so I say this because, again, to your question, Donna, of about Massey posting about his well-being now. Yeah, I mean, when people like him and people like Nancy Mace and people like Ro Khanna and Marjorie Taylor Greene, if they all start posting about that shit, and then one of them dies, all while the Epstein files keep getting released and people keep talking about it, I think it's insane. It's an insane move on the government's part because again, we are an extremely armed populace, and it takes one person deciding that that's too far to then go to one of these dinners where it's $500 for a plate or $1,000 for a plate. Fuck it, they'll mortgage their house and like commit a mass shooting. Like it takes one fuck up like this for it all to come crashing down on them. So I don't even get the calculus. I really don't. I think that, you know, if you asked me, Corn Pop, what do you think should happen? Or like, what do you think the government's smartest move to do would be with regards to the Epstein files? Because I know obviously like the morally, yeah, safe place, exactly, aka Luigi, exactly. Um, I think like the morally correct thing is that every single person who's in the United States government needs to lose their jobs and they all need to be put up for reelection like instantaneously. Like we basically need to have a snap election of the entire federal government. Um, and then I think that from there, if your name is in the Epstein files, it needs to be said on every single campaign ad you run, which was that like I was in the Epstein files and you have to explain it. And then if you can get reelected, you can. And if you can't, you can't. And if you can't, then you get tried as a civilian. Like that's what I think should happen. But in terms of what I think would be the smartest thing to happen, I think the smartest thing to happen would be to completely get rid of a few select people. Like, yeah, Democrats should throw Bill Clinton to the wolves. Like, it's very obvious Bill Clinton was on that island doing nefarious shit with Jeff Epstein. It's just very obvious. They should throw him to the wolves. They should make an example out of him, and maybe pick a couple other like low level like centi millionaires, right? Like maybe not their like billionaire donors, but people who have like 100 million or $200 million. Throw them to the wolves, and then Republicans need to fork over somebody too. Like I think that like if they were smart, they would pick like a gang of 12 to 15 people, like enough that it doesn't look like something tiny, right? Um, and then from there, just yeah, put them on trial, throw them in jail for life. Who the fuck cares, right? Like that's what I think would be smart for them to do because that would actually be a real pressure release. But I just don't I don't think that it's gonna happen. Let me see here. Robin Cummings says, ban TikTok. Let them know we jump ship when Zionists take control. Jump to Upscroll and Substack and Blue Sky. But you know what's funny though, Robin, is like, you guys know where Substack's money comes from, right? Like Substack is backed by venture capitalists like Andreessen, Mark Andreessen, you know, and like that dude's a Nazi. Like, I mean, we just got like we at least have to you know name facts. Like this platform is built by by right wingers. Like, I mean, the fact that they just let every single person on here like go pretty much uncensored for the most part is like good, but I mean it's not like that much better in terms of the ideological commitments of its founders. Like it's not even close. I don't know if you guys know, but I don't remember how many years ago this was. It wasn't too long ago though. Somebody posted a really damning article. It was about that, and I think you can still find it, which is like Substack has a Nazi problem, and it was about how there are so many Substack newsletters that are actual Nazi rags, and I don't mean Nazi in the way of like how ICE is like a Gestapo adjacent organization. No, I mean that there are like actual Nazi propaganda pages here on Substack that use literal Nazi iconography. They use the swastika. They like have images of Jewish people that are pulled straight from Der Stürmer, like from the 40s. Like, I mean, it's insane. And this journalist, if I remember the story correctly, like tried very hard to get a lot of these pages banned because of course, like you don't want actual Nazis on your page. And Substack basically told them to go fuck themselves. And we're just like, no, we're committed to free speech all the way through. And this means letting Nazis have their own corner, which of course is how you get shit like poll, right? Like slash poll on 4chan, where that's an actual Nazi rag now too. So I don't know. I think it's important that we all recognize, like, yes, I love Substack because it is a very, very cool place. And there's a lot of wonderful writers on here, but like Substack's executive team is cool with Nazis, like period. You know. Let me see here. Franklin says anyone in the Epstein files needs to be banned from ever running for public office again at the very least. Yeah, you know, and I think this is one of the toughest things, man, is because there's already this problem that's happening where people are viewing your name in the files as being an immediate proof of your like direct association with Jeff Epstein, but it's just like not the case. Like there's so many instances that I've already found where all that's happening is that people are getting emailed about. Like their name is just showing up in reference to them, but it's not clear at all, at least not in the files that I've read directly, that some of these people are who knew Jeff Epstein personally at all or had ever even met him. Like it's so tough because it's like if your name's in there, I mean, like that doesn't really tell me anything. It just tells me that like people are aware of you. You know what I mean? Um, I mean, fuck, man. You know who else is in those files? Is Norm Finkelstein, who I love, and Norm Finkelstein's in those files, and he's directly saying, I think that people who go to Epstein Island should be strangled to death. But he's in the files, like I don't know, like I think Norman Finkelstein is a remarkably like ethical and moral guy, and I think he has very, very good politics. And I think he would be a great person to run for office. But like, I mean, just because he's in the files, like, should he not get to? Like, I don't think that's true, right? Like, it's about the substance of why you're in the files that matters. And this is why flooding the zone with 3 million pages at a time is insane, because it makes that kind of analysis impossible. Let me see here. Barbara says, it seems like Hillary has way too much pull for something like them sicking Bill Clinton to the wolves to ever happen. Yeah, I would agree. But then again, like, didn't Bill Clinton himself literally tweet a few weeks ago where he was like, yeah, Donald, okay, let's go testify. Yeah, fuck you, man. I hate you. Let's die. Wasn't that him? Um, Let me see here. Robin Cummings says, I haven't seen any Nazi shit on Substack. Glad I don't subscribe to this. It's definitely there, man. I mean, I need to make sure like it is. Substack does have a Nazi problem. Like, I mean, it sucks to say that out loud, but it is true. When I was promoting my Substack on my TikTok in the weeks leading up to TikTok getting banned the first time, man, oh man, it was crazy because I had people up my ass being like, Substack's like a Nazi platform, right? Like, I mean, it's not like unknown. Barbara says, the upsetting people are an entire class and they're way above us. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Safe Place says, but we got Medea's code pink. Yeah, so true, man. And I love Medea. I actually got to meet Medea here in DC, maybe about oh man, I actually don't remember when this was. This was probably like a year ago or so, but she's awesome. She's really, really short in real life too. She's really short, but she's really, really, really nice person. Let me see here. Safe Place says Chomsky. Yeah, yeah, I mean, Chomsky's in those files, and it's weird. It's weird as fuck, man. I mean, it's not just that he's in the files; like he's in the files, like directing Epstein on the way of articulating a. I don't know how to even say this. Like he's almost like telling him how to articulate like a PR based approach to his own reputation. It's nasty. It's nasty stuff, man. But yeah, he's also photographed on the plane. So not the best. Not the best to be on the fucking Lolita Express as the left's one like kind of mainstream accepted intellectual. Really, really sucks a lot. Yeah. Guys, here in our last 7.5 minutes, I would love to know from all of you. Do any of you have any Valentine's Day plans, or did any of you guys get up to anything for Valentine's Day? I would love to know. As I said here in the very beginning of my stream, when there were far fewer people here, I am away from my partner right now. She's back home, and I miss her very much. And so, I've just been having to, find things to occupy my time, jorking it, playing my banjo, some playing with my dog. I went out for dinner tonight actually, and wait, what's this? This is it. This is your plan. Oh, wonderful. Well, that's wonderful. Safe place. So I'm glad that you're here with me. Wait, Purple is a Fruit says I went to a burlesque show with my partner. Oh, that's very fun and steamy. I hope that played out well for you. I hope that if there was any ulterior motive that the motive was realized. Yasmin Y says I don't celebrate it. Fair enough. Man, saying fair enough like that, it reminds me of Cody Ko and Noel Miller. And man, what a wild story that Cody Ko just kind of disappeared from the public consciousness because he fucked a 17-year-old when he was 25. And Noel Miller had to basically like disavow him. That's insane. And then also now, as I watch Noel Miller, it's so obvious to me that Noel Miller carried all of their shit. Like Cody Ko is just such a kind of a bland guy compared to Noah Miller. Like Noah Miller actually has like funny shit to say in all their videos, and Cody Ko is always like coattail riding, but it's never that successful. Yeah, it's just the way it is. I am really sad I will not get to see Bad Bunny perform. I was just thinking about that because that guy takes a stand. He actually likes to have politics that mean something to him. So he's like, I'm not going to perform in the United States. Fuck that. I mean, well, he does perform in the United States. He performs in Puerto Rico, but he's like, I'm not going to perform on the mainland. Fuck that. Why would I do that? And it's like, honestly, man, hell yeah. I respect it. I really do. But oh my God, that sucks. Because like, there are so many cities in the United States that if he was in, I would just go crazy for. Safe Place says, but Gaga is a Zionist. Yeah, I was saying Bad Bunny, man. Yeah. I mean, I know that Lady Gaga is the Zionist. That's why I said I'm so sad I can't go see Benito perform. Not at the Benito Bowl, mind you. Like, I mean, I'm just sad I won't get to see him like on tour. You know. Actually, uh, saying that out loud, it reminds me. I saw this video today where people were talking about how this one celebrity gossip page on TikTok was saying like a new blind item reads, which I have my own fucking thoughts about blind items, but they're like this new blind item reads that Cardi B actually isn't paying seat fillers for her tour, and that actually her tour is nearly sold out. And it really made me wonder, like, wow, being a blind item reader or like even being in the world of celebrity gossip, it has to be so easy because you can just literally say fucking anything. Or rather, the blind items can just say anything. You report on it as though it's news. And then when it's later confirmed to be total bullshit, you can be like, it actually is different now. It's just like, how useless of a fucking form of a journalism can that even be? I mean, goddamn. Oh, man. You know, I'm really trying to decide how it is that I can engage my chat more or like give them more things to engage. I know that that's why people do like video game streams so that people can like grief on you while you're playing, but I'm just not really that kind of guy. Just not really too much of a gamer like that. Maybe I could build cities and like city skylines that I could talk about my decisions there, or I could play like Civ or something like that. That'd be kind of fun. But I don't know, man. It's like I I really hate so much whenever I'm in streams where it's just dead. You know what I mean? And like there's like all this dead air where the person is like really up close on their phone and they're just like looking and they're like clearly scanning and filtering for which comments are worth responding to. Like I hate that shit because it's boring. Like who gives a fuck? But then it's like when I'm in this like drought and I don't have anybody in the chat really talking with me, it's very different. And I really don't know what the difference is in a way because like I imagine most of you are on your phone. And on TikTok when I go and I stream, man, people blow up my chat. Like there's a point if I had 120 people watching me on TikTok right now, like I would have to respond to so many fucking comments. It would have been insane. And there's a point where I'm talking so fast that my mouth dries out and I like get winded, because I'm just like I'm having to respond to so much. I don't know if it's like that people just treat Substack chats differently, or if this view count actually up here isn't concurrent viewers, which if it's not, then Substack, if you're watching this and transcribing my video, why the fuck would you show total viewers? I don't give a shit about total viewers. Like I need to know how many people are in the chat. I can actually direct my conversation that way better. But I don't know. I don't know. Let me see here. Donna Ever says, just be with the uncomfortable. It will get better. I mean, I'm not even that. Let me see here. Safe Place says, did you put yourself up on Red Note? It's kind of fun. I did put myself up on Red Note, and it was kind of fun. I didn't really keep posting there after TikTok came back, though, to be honest. Maybe that was a mistake. But to Donna Everett, I'm not even like uncomfortable with like silence or anything like that. It's just that like I know that when people are scrolling and they're looking for streams, if I'm just sitting there silent and nothing's happening, it's like they have no reason to click in. You know what I mean? Whereas if I am talking, at least then somebody can catch the gist of what I'm saying. They can be like, "Oh, I like that," or "Oh, I don't like that. I like that guy's vibe. I don't like that guy's vibe." But if I don't give them a vibe to like or dislike, then it's like I'm dead in the water. You know. Let me see here. Purple as a Fruit says, you could try that new Web.io website live for Epstein docs. I'd love to see people researching stuff where we can ask questions. Oh, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. Donna Everett says, what is Red Note boring? Like, Donna, are you saying I'm boring? Are you saying Red Note's boring? Are you saying what Purple as a Fruit said is boring? I have no idea. You'll have to clarify that. I want to make sure that I'm providing somewhat of an enjoyable stream. But actually, guys, we're getting close into the hour. And as you all know, I cap my shit at 1 hour exactly. And that is because I don't really like going much longer than that, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think that usually after an hour, I like really feel super, super gassed and exhausted. Uh, but let me see. Safe Place says, thank you. Oh, well, thank you very much, guys. In the last minute I have with you, I would love it if you guys, anybody who's here, tell me, what do you want out of a Substack Live? Like, are there things that you would want me to do? Are there ways you'd want me to engage? Would you guys enjoy it if maybe you were worried we were bored? Oh yeah, I was worried that you guys were bored for sure. Like, are there things that you guys want me to do? Like, I've thought about maybe bringing my interviews, that I do with progressive challengers onto Substack Live, and then giving my paid subscribers the option to actually be the only people who are in the chat. I've really thought about. I've also thought about just like inviting people, like doing 15 minutes of remarks like I usually do, and then having 15 minutes of subscriber sessions where like I invite people up directly, and I'm like, hey, if you want to talk to me, I would. I'll just like invite you as a guest, and then we can talk for 15 minutes. I've thought about having like weekly Q&As where people can just ask me whatever they want, and I'll just answer them live. Like, what do you guys want to see? I like dead ass. Please put it in the chat, like what you would want to see from this, because I would love to know. Um, Donna Everett says, what is it? Donna Everett says, "What is your passion?" My passion in life. I think I have a lot of passions in life. I'm very passionate about nature. I'm very passionate about playing my banjo and getting really good at that. I'm really passionate about talking with people. I actually love interviewing people. It's like one of my favorite things to do. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I love doing. Safe Place says, "Oh, I can't afford much, so I like that we can talk here for free." Oh yeah, excuse me. Safe Place, I totally understand that. I was more talking about, like, having separate streams even, where it's, like, maybe Corncast can just be, like, my like, everybody can come and join, but, like, maybe having a separate, like, weekly standing interview with people, that I only invite my paid subscribers to, or that everybody can view, but only paid subscribers can actually, like, put in the chat, you know? Um, Guys, we are officially at the 1 hour mark, and so I would like to request all of you one thing, which is that if you've enjoyed this episode of Corncast, please leave your number rating 1 out of 10. 1 is I would never listen to this again, and 10 is I would listen to this every day if I could. Please put it in the chat, dead ass. It makes me very, very happy. And I really, really hope that you all have enjoyed your time with me. I know I've enjoyed my time with you. I always love when I get to talk to all of my little colonels here. Those are all my subscribers. And I hope that you all will have a wonderful rest of your evening. It's been nothing but fun. Okay, great. I'm seeing some oh, it would be a 10. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad. And thank you, Yasmin. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, Safe Place, for your 9.555. Thank you, Purple, as a free for 10. Bleepo says, thank you, man. I'll check back in. 8.5. Great. Barbara says, oh, wow, subscribe. Thank you so much, Barbara. I really appreciate that. I think that you'll really enjoy what you see there. Well, everybody, I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you next week.